Hey everyone, this is Vocal Thunder, and I'm here with a new series that I'm going to be calling Caught Delovely. And basically what I'm going to try and do is catch as many of your favorite YouTubers who also play the League of Legends online in games. And the first special guest for this game and for the series is going to be Delovely. You guys might know of her. She has a pretty good fan base going on already for her channel, and I'm going to put up the link to her channel at the bottom in the description. You'll see that she's going to be rocking the kitty cat skin for this game, and we also have a Sona with the Silent Night Sona skin, and we have a Malzahar and a Mundo as well. I'm going to be playing TF, and I'm going to get to show you some of my skills here and what I think of while I play and what kind of items I buy. But this is more of a game just to show you how some of your favorite LoL players who may not have games put up play online. So it's going to be pretty fun. So we're just talking about some of the skins here. I have yet to see a Reindeer Kog'Maw skin, but I have seen the Gragas Santa skin, and I'm thinking about purchasing it because it looks like a pretty awesome skin. But I'm going to be laning up against the Pantheon here. The lane matchup with TF versus Pantheon mid is kind of a trade-off. Basically, you're going to be trading off with Pantheon most of the time, and he's gonna know when you're gonna try and hit him with something, so your best bet is to try and hit him with something harder. For me, I start with the Doran's Blade. It gives me some decent HP regen, as well as a health potion, which coincidentally for this game is eggnog because of the Christmas theme. It's got a pretty good I really like how Riot kind of thematically changes up the items, and they're doing a good job in terms of keeping things fresh for the players, and that's what I really like. So as you can see, I'm doing my best to zone the Pantheon here. His Aegis allows him to defend against an attack that exceeds the damage threshold. So he's allowed to take a tower shot, like right there. So I'm trying my best to just pick him off with small, harassment attempts. Make sure to attack him while his cooldown is up for his spear shot, because that's his main ranged attack. And once he gets a little bit higher, he'll have his shield bash thing as well as the Heartseeker Strike, which took a noticeable hit for this patch of the game. And so as you can see, we did a bit of a trade there, and that's pretty much what you'll be getting with TF versus Pantheon. Since he can stun you from a distance and your cards are ranged, you want to make sure that whenever you do trade, you trade with a gold card, because that way he won't be able to unleash this full combo on you with the Heartseeker. And so I see that he was gonna do his full combo there, and I decided to flash out because I don't want to take the full brunt of that. As TF at the beginning, you're gonna have very low HP, and I'm rocking some HP quintessence here, but even they, along with the Doran's Blade, are not enough to tank a full combo from Pantheon. So your best bet is to actually stay sort of passive and last hit as much as you can. As you can see, I'm slightly out-leveling this Pantheon, just by maybe a little bit. He might not be using the experience masteries, but I make sure I try and get those every single game on every champion that I play, simply because it helps you stay a little bit further ahead, and a lot further ahead if you happen to be doing well. So we get kind of a break here in the laning. in mid so far. I use this chance to kind of gauge how my team is doing, because as you can see, I'm going to be hitting 6 soon, and once I hit 6, I want to be sure I use my ultimate in order to help my other teammates. Pantheon's going to probably want to do the same, since we're both champions who have a global teleport, his being the Grand Skyfall and mine being Destiny. We want to try and get to our level 6 ultimates as quickly as possible.
Just luck of the draw.
So I'm just trying my best to last hit here. It's really important to last hit when you're in mid, and it's a lot easier with TF because, as you can see, I can pick blue, and the blue card will not only do extra damage on my auto attack, but it will also regenerate my mana, which I can use to, you know, keep the pressure on and save for wild cards in case I need to defend it against the push or pull up a gold card. So Pantheon has gone back. I call a miss on him, but I didn't think he was level 6 yet, so I don't actually call it. And as you can see, bottom's getting hit by my mistake. Luckily, they had Fortify, so they were able to hold them to the tower for a little bit longer. But as you can see, Pantheon is a really huge threat, simply because he can appear out of nowhere and really shift the tide of a gank. I decided to do a little bit of ganking on my own here, and I could see that the Cassiopeia, which is the new hero for this patch, on the other team is slightly lower on her HP, so I decided to teleport in after I buy my things. That's the great thing about Twisted Fate, and the advantage that he has over Pantheon is that he is able to see everybody on the map when he teleports. So I see that Delovely had ignited the Cassiopeia there and decided not to try and go in for the kill, because as much as I need the kills, so does Katarina, because she took a pretty noticeable buff this patch, and she's a lot better simply because you get a bonus to her damage from both her AP and her AD. Pantheon decides to jump in and try and push us back here. He does so successfully, but the damage is already done. From what I can tell, Cassiopeia is a pretty fragile champion. She doesn't have a very good escape aside from her ulti, and even then, her ulti is actually pretty difficult to land fully because you have to be actually facing your opponents in order for the full effect of the stun to happen. But in the right hands, Cassiopeia is very powerful, and I have seen some pretty good Cassiopeias as well. So laning is pretty standard so far. I apologize if this replay does go on for quite a bit, simply because it was a pretty hard fought game and we didn't win this. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. We didn't win this easily. It was actually very, very difficult, and we were losing for actually most of the game. But it's those kind of games that, you know, you have a lot of fun with, and you walk away from feeling good about.
I reckon.
So if you'll notice that I'm actually going for a hybrid build on Twisted Fate. And I have been playing around with all his various different builds. I've gone pure AD, I've gone pure AP, and both have their good points. But I find with actually a pure AD build, you often are lacking in spell damage, and with an AP build, your physical damage is relatively low. So I enjoy going for the hybrid build. The hybrid build allows me to actually do a lot of damage in a fight with either cards or my auto attacks. And the item build I find is actually very efficient, simply because you see me getting Madred's Blood Razors here, and it actually helps me last hit very well with TF. TF also has a stacked deck, which actually does extra damage on its 4th attack. So last hitting minions is actually very easy with Twisted Fate, and you're allowed to farm up some items pretty quickly with him. That's why I decide to go with the Madreds. Keep in mind though, I don't actually build the Madreds right like straight off. I actually build it piece by piece, and you'll see me actually picking up a Stinger, which is one of the items required for the Nashor's Tooth. Here we have a pretty big engagement as well. I see that Pantheon actually goes in for our teammates here, and I decide to jump in on the action. Misfortune almost gets away there, but I decide to nail her with a card after my flash. But I get caught in a really bad position, and Malzahar's out of mana, so he's not able to help me. I was afraid that Malzahar was going to get jumped there, but unfortunately the Pantheon didn't have much in terms of HP, so he was able to get away there. So as you can see, the kills are pretty close. I think we're up 4 kills and they're up 5. So they're up by 1 kill. So when you play a champion such as Twisted Fate or Pantheon, it's really important to have good map awareness, because you have to help your teammates with your ultimate. The reason why I play Twisted Fate is because he has a very powerful stun, and he is able to pretty much gank anyone from anywhere on the map. And having that kind of flexibility in terms of gank ability and escape ability actually is really appealing for me. So that's why I like to play Twisted Fate. Pantheon's also a very good champion, but I find that he's too he's a melee champion, and he runs the risk of being focused down in the fight, whereas Twisted Fate is allowed to kind of stay near the back, behind a tank, and pick on his opponents without taking any relatively high damage, unless you fall into a bad position. So that's why I enjoy playing Twisted Fate. I find he's a very high risk, high reward kind of champion to play, because if you're good with him and you have a good ganking ability, you can actually do really well for yourself. But if you aren't, then you're gonna really feed and you're gonna really have a hard time. So I get caught kind of out of position here again, but fortunately for me, my team comes to save me. Cassiopeia managed to sneak up behind us, but as you can see, Cassiopeia doesn't have a very effective stun, and it's not very reliable since it's an ulti, so we're able to take her out along with her 2 lane mates at the bottom there. So it's still pretty up in the air for me. Cassiopeia can be very powerful if used with a very strong